We are about to dive into a very sensitive topic, and we don't have to go to live line because Jan Rigdon is here. She's drop dead gorgeous, so it just proves that cancer doesn't care if you're pretty. It just strikes when it strikes. And I've lost my best friend to metastatic breast cancer 3 years ago. She was diagnosed in November and gone in January. I didn't even get to say goodbye. So it was horrifying. So just hearing the word cancer probably changed who you are, huh?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't mean to throw that at you right
No,
off the
that's
get,
okay.
but that's what it does to people.
Right.
And I have been sad for 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So cancer is survivable, though.
Cancer is survivable.
You got to catch it in time.
Early detection, that's the key, Fawn.
Mhm.
And we have great, a wonderful medical community and imaging and so forth right here in Cape Girardeau. I can't emphasize enough the importance of early detection and mammograms. My cancer was diagnosed on a screening mammogram. I was fortunate to work at Southeast Hospital. I was the director of surgery there. And I had a screening mammogram, and Marilyn Proffer was working for Dr. Frank McGinty and called and said, Jan, Dr. Stecker wants to talk to you. And my mammogram was not okay. I was shocked. No family history, nothing like that. I was 56 years old. And truthfully, had I not been working at Southeast and had that health insurance, I'm not sure I would have had regular screening mammograms.
I don't. 7 of my dad's 10 sisters died of breast cancer, and I
my
still only
gosh.
go once every 3 years
Well,
because they're expensive.
They are expensive. At least you're having them, Fawn.
Yeah, once every 3 years is good enough.
I think so.
Yeah. I don't think every year is necessary. I know, like, with my friend Dina who passed, she found the lump herself. She felt a tiny lump, and she got screened every year, but nobody ever saw anything.
Yeah.
It was the tiniest lump, but by the time that she went in, it had spread to her entire body. So, I mean, it was in her bones, in her brain, it was everywhere, because some of it is virulent, and it just takes off.
That's right.
So if you can find a way to get a screening, whether it's through the Digs for Life or whatever the case may be, find a way to get a screening. There's some traveling vans that go around and do them in poorer communities.
Yes.
Please don't be afraid to go in and get the booby smash, because
That's right.
it could save your life.
Absolutely. It saved mine.
Yeah. So they found a lump, and then did you have to do chemo?
Well, there was no lump. It was just found a very early stage called DCIS, a very early stage localized breast cancer. And I was very fortunate. 3 weeks after I had it, I had an MRI to double check that it wasn't in the other breast. And then about 2 weeks later, Dr. Ron Richmond, who is a very talented general surgeon here in Cape, was able to get me on the schedule and did a lumpectomy. So just took out the affected tissue and what's called a sentinel node biopsy to check the lymph nodes in my armpit.
Mm-hmm.
And all the margins were clear. I did not have to have chemotherapy. I had 30 radiation treatments at the Southeast Cancer Center.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, it was a God thing, Fawn, truthfully. I have to say that you may feel this way, and other people listening, when you look back over your life through darkness and through joy, you always really have been in the hand of the Lord, guided by the Holy Spirit. I'm getting a little emotional, sorry. But I see that so clearly now, and that's why I wanted to talk with you. We have wonderful options for healing and treatment for women undergoing breast cancer diagnosis and through their journey right here in Cape, with our general surgeons, with oncologists, with, both hospitals have a great cancer center, and also with plastic surgery. So that's why I wanted to talk with you. I think being close to home is so important. And when I think about what it was a tough time when I had this, and I can't really imagine going away and having that done without my family, my friends.
And the expenses.
I had the expense. I had a good friend, an anesthesiologist, who put me to sleep, Matt LaValle. And, when you see those faces right before you go to sleep, and Dr. Richmond and your friends in the OR, you're going to be okay one way or another.
Right. And whatever will be, will be. That's how I live my life. That's why, when you asked about my leg, I'm like, it's really not that big a deal. It's going to heal and we're going to move on to the next thing.
Right.
But so many women do not survive cancer because they'll feel a lump or something and think, oh, it's just a lump, it's benign. When I found a lump in the 1990s, it was huge. It was the size of a golf ball. And I thought for sure that was it because of my dad's history, my dad's sister's history.
Right.
And they went in and took it out. It was just a big, giant fiber cyst. It absolutely benign. But it could have been something. So they took it out, and things get a little unequal. So sometimes you need to have things put back together.
Right.
So reconstructive surgery, do we have options here for that as well?
Absolutely. When I had breast cancer in 2010, I was 56 years old, and I talked to plastic surgeons and general surgeons. My cousin is a plastic surgeon in North Carolina. He was kind of my trusted agent on this, helping guide me.
Yeah.
And I wasn't interested in reconstruction at the time. And truthfully, after Dr. Richmond did my lumpectomy, I told him, I said, it looks like I have a rack by Richmond now because, this breast looks great. Well, now I'm 71, and, over time things change, and it didn't look too good. It was starting to look kind of like an ear on a pig, and I thought, I'm gonna have something done about this. So I chose Chase Tobin, who's a plastic surgeon here in town, because I had worked with his dad, Greg, when I was the director of nursing at Doctors Park Surgery, and he's a very gifted plastic surgeon. So I went and talked with him. He gave me the most thorough explanation of everything that he would do and so forth. So as of yesterday, I saw him. I'm 5 weeks post-op, and I can go back and do anything I want to do. I can go back to the gym. I can walk. Not nuts about swimming, but I can swim if I want to.
Yeah.
And I just want to get the word out that we have these options right here in Cape.
That's important because a lot of people can't afford to go off and spend money on hotels or a lot of people don't have medical insurance and can't afford any of the things you're talking about. So there are limited options for people who are in a tough situation. I'm very, very happy for you that you were able to get all this stuff done and make yourself whole again because you seem to be happy. You look great.
Thank you.
So you must just give the glory to God that you are whole and that you are able to tell your story and educate other people that, don't rush off and think this is the end of the world because you just got to fight.
You do have to fight, and I've been talking to Ray Silliman through part of this when I decided to have this reconstruction and so forth. And I said, our options for breast cancer care are great here. And he was telling me, he said, Ron Richmond has 34 years experience. These are the general surgeons. Joe McAdams has 20 years. He said, I have 19 years here, and we do everything from breast biopsy to lumpectomy, mastectomy, with nipple sparing. And I said, well, who knows this, Dr. Silliman? And he said, truthfully, Jan, I'm not sure we've done a good job of getting that message out there.
Well, they should buy some advertising.
I said, well, it's time to get the word out there. And that's why I emailed you. I thought, if there's a way that maybe somebody might hear this and be thinking about traveling to St. Louis or Memphis or wherever, have the expensive travel, hotels, and not be surrounded by their family, I'd just like to get the word out to them.
Yeah. And, the thing about this is a lot of people feel like they have to go to St. Louis because the big city doctors are better.
Yes.
Almost everybody thinks that. And I don't know why.
I don't know, but there's really something to be said about the physicians who are invested in your community. And I believe the ones who are here in Cape Girardeau are not just invested in the community, they're invested in their patients.
Yeah.
They know their families, and I'm not sure you can go to St. Louis and have the doctors and nurses and so forth get to know your families the way they can here. Maybe, but my experience has just been fantastic here. And like I said, my experience was at Southeast because I worked there the last 15 years of my career. But both hospitals have great care.
Right.
They have wonderful physicians. They both have a beautiful cancer center. Great anesthesia, which is really critical to success if you're talking about surgery. So,
yeah, well, I'm glad you're still here with us and able to tell the story. So there are also breast cancer support groups at both facilities where women get together and tell their stories. But if we've learned anything over the years, it's that if you're a breast cancer survivor, you're not alone. And if you have breast cancer right now, you're not alone. So there are people you can talk to. I have two friends right now, Mandy, you included, who are going through cancer treatments as we speak. And people don't really know what to say to them. So I have 2 minutes left. What do we say to someone who has cancer? How do we act differently? What do we do?
I would think the thing to do is not to act differently, to in a private moment, depending on how close your relationship is with them. What I like to do is just let someone know I'm thinking of them, I'm praying for them, because prayer has gotten me through all of this. And if you're not comfortable talking directly to them, I find that a handwritten note or nowadays, I guess a text or an email is acceptable. To me, a handwritten note is
better.
Is the key. Just some way to let them know that you're in their corner. And if there is anything they can do that you can do for them, you'll be there. The other thing is, I think not just to say to someone, let me know if there's anything you need. My dad always said, Jan, the big deal is showing up. So if you can show up for your friend, take them something to eat. Take them a note,
Take them their favorite thing to eat.
Take
If they
them
want
their
a big,
favorite thing.
juicy cheeseburger, then that's what they should have.
Exactly.
All right, Jan Rigdon is a breast cancer survivor with reconstruction done here locally. You don't have to go to a faraway land unless the doctors here say, we need you to go elsewhere because this is beyond our means. And they will tell you that.
Yes, they will.
If that's the case. Jan, I'm glad you're still here.
Thank you, Fawn.
You have a reason for still being here.
I do. All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Jan Rigdon, she is telling her story to try to help others make educated decisions when it comes to their health care.